Welcome back to Reliance Stadium. Indianapolis and Houston set to go at it. 70,000 in attendance, and for the first time the roof is open during the day. That includes preseason games. And the temperature outside 81 degrees, and the rain is coming down a bit as we prepare to start this one. Gus Johnson, Brent Jones. Houston won the toss, and they will receive the football as Mike Vanderjagt is ready to send it away. Jermaine Lewis back deep. And this is the first meeting between these two teams in the newly formed AFC South. And the Colts are making their first appearance in Houston since September 23rd of 1990. Lewis inside the 10. And the former Raven gets up to the 20, a 10-yard return. Tackle on the play by Detron Smith. So here he comes, the young gun, David Carr, the first overall selection out of Fresno State. He's got a cannon for an arm. Struggled last week a bit versus San Diego, but this guy can really let it fly, Brent.
And Gus, he seemed so gritty last week in a tough situation, earned the respect of his teammates. Tough ball player, great throwing mechanics, strong arm. Needs a little bit more time to throw today.
Sacked 9 times last week versus the Chargers. Throwing on first down. Fires to the sideline. Jabbar Gaffney with the catch. Second down 4 from the 26. James Allen, the lone setback. Here's Allen over the left side. Makes the first man miss and gets close to the 30-yard line. It's a pickup of about 3.5. Mike Peterson with the tackle. Third down 1 at the 29. Bradford in motion. They hand it off to Allen, looking for the first down. I don't think he'll get it. Needed to get to the 30-yard line, and he is stacked up and taken down by Raheem Brock, the rookie from Temple. Originally a 7th-round draft pick by the Eagles.
And Gus, that's just what we talked about at the top of the show. Get in third and manageable. 3rd and 1, they did a great job first and second down getting some yards. Easy convert on 3rd and 1. Didn't make it. They've got to keep this clock moving. They've got to get some first downs on every drive. 3 and out is going to make this a long game, 15 possessions for the Colts, and their offense is too powerful to give them that many possessions.
So in the punt, Chad Stanley gets it away. High spiraling punt. Troy Walters back deep with the fair catch signal, and he is drilled. A penalty flag on the field. Drilled by Jason Bell, a backup cornerback. Troy Walters signaling for the fair catch. I don't think Bell saw him. And that's one thing Dom Capers talked to us about, penalties. The Texans have been the most penalized team in the National Football League. Last week, 73 yards in penalties.
Interference with the opportunity to make a fair catch. Kicking team number 33. 15-yard penalty. First down.
And Gus, it's one thing to be young, but young and dumb is a bad combination. As a gunner, you got to know where that receiver is. You see the ball smack right into him. I don't know what he was thinking, but you've got to give him some room to catch the ball. And when you're an expansion team, you don't have the depth. You don't necessarily have the top-line talent to be able to recover from big mistakes, penalties, turnovers.
And this is not the team you want to spot great field position. The Colts start first down and 10 at the 44. Manning opens out of the shotgun. Play action, looks up top. Marcus Pollard with the catch at the Houston 40, and he is stopped at the 37. It's a gain of 19. Eric Brown with the tackle. Peyton, the great Manning, and he's done so many things so early in his career. Archie Manning's son.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say about this guy? He's just come in and taken the NFL by storm, going into his 5th year, and just a leader, maturity. He's got all the skills, just so smart out there on the field. Actually, he's one of the few quarterbacks that almost calls his own plays during the game.
They hand this one off on a stretch play to Edgerrin James, who slips and goes down. Jay Foreman covering up the edge. Second down and 12 at the 39. Texans, number 2 team against the pass in the NFL. Play action. Manning over the middle. Pollard juggled it and drops it. Eric Brown dislodging the football from Marcus Pollard, the former basketball player.
And Gus, I think you're going to see Marcus. He looks like it's starting to look upfield. You got to look that ball into your hands. He's a great receiver. You see Brown taking the shot at him. Once you don't catch that cleanly and you're over the middle, you're going to take a shot, and it makes it tough to hold on. But Marcus Pollard is going to be the X factor today. I don't know if the Texans can match up with Marcus Pollard.
And Pollard, a legal substitution called against the Colts.
5-yard penalty. Repeat, third down.
And Gus, you can't have 12 guys in the huddle. If there's a player coming onto the field, a player has to be coming off. You can't use the old 12 guys in the huddle and all of a sudden bring a guy off because the defensive coach and coordinator doesn't know who's exposing their plays out there.
And Tony Dungy, his first season, and the Colts coming off a 21-13 loss at home to Miami. So many successful years in Tampa, where he led one of the best defenses in the NFL. Third down, 17 at the 44. They need to go to the 27 for first down. Manning in trouble, he goes down. Jeff Posey, the linebacker, getting pressure on Peyton Manning, and the Colts will have to punt it away.
And watch number 98, Jeff Posey, come into the picture. From your left, just pushing Tarek Glenn right back, and Peyton Manning trying to scramble to the left side, runs right into Posey. And that's just an opportunity for Posey to get under Tarek Glenn's shoulder pads and drive him right back toward the quarterback.
So Hunter Smith is at the 30. Jermaine Lewis back at the 10. High, wobbly kick. Lewis camping under it. He'll start from his own 5. Lewis looking, and he gets up to the 9. A 49-yard punt, a 3-yard return. Jason Doring with the tackle. Texans on offense after this. No score, 10:49 to go in the first quarter, and the Texans have the ball at their own 9-yard line as David Carr steps to the line of scrimmage out of the I formation. This is Allen. Allen to the 10, gets up to the 12, maybe the 13. Mike Peterson stopping him. And Dom Capers is in his first season as the head coach of the expansion Texans. Spent 2 years as the defensive coordinator with Tom Coughlin prior to coming here. And prior to that, he was the head coach of the expansion Carolina Panthers and got 1 game from the Super Bowl.
And that in his second year, and that's so amazing. And he made that team a competitive team in his first year. And so he is the perfect guy to be running this Houston Texans ship right now.
Second down at 6 at the 13. The pitch. Allen stutter step with plenty of room. Allen gets to the 20. Make it the 21. A pickup of 8. And the Texans feel that they can run this ball on the Indianapolis defense.
And I don't know if James Allen's been getting the respect that he deserves around this league. I think he's a very shifty back. Watch him set up out the blockers outside, come back underneath. And the little man's got some power, he's got some quickness. He's made some things happen. You know, running for the Chicago Bears a couple years ago, had over 1,100 yards, and he's just seemed like in the last couple weeks, he's just been 1 step away from a big play, breaking a big one.
Already 15 yards rushing on 4 carries, 1st and 10 at the 21. Allen, the single setback. Here's Carr with protection, dances out of the pocket. Carr has running room. And Carr tiptoes out of bounds about 2 yards short of the first down. And when we talked to Dom Capers yesterday, and also David Carr, they told us that Chris Palmer, the offensive coordinator, put some 5-step and 3-step drops into the package.
Yeah, have to get in the habit of doing more 3- and 5-step drops, Gus, until this offensive line develops. 7-step drops mean that you have to hold your block for 4 seconds, and that's a long time to ask for a young, not cohesive yet unit. And so you're going to see more quick passes, quick sets from David Carr today.
Second down 3 at the 28. Drop play, Allen with running room. Allen picks up the first down. And in Texas, you know what they call that kind of running? Smash mouth football. It's a gain of 8. And David Carr sacked 9 times last week against San Diego. Oh, my goodness. A little protection, please. He's missing Tony Baselli and Ryan Young, a couple of rookies in the starting lineup on the O-line, and the Texans on pace for 120 sacks, but they believe that Young and Baselli could come back after the bye week. First down and 10 at the 36. Here's Carr on the play fake, sets up, looks, flag on the play. Into the flats, and it is Baxter, the rookie from New Mexico, 5th-round pick. Gains 9, but a penalty called against Houston.
And Gus, I think Fred Royery, number 61, is going to be called for a hold right there, just a takedown. And those are the things that you can't do as a young, inexperienced ball club. You can't have crucial penalties.
Holding, offense, number 61. 5-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
So, Weary, a rookie from Tennessee.
And he's here at right guard. And watch this takedown move. And he loses him right there. And there it is. Little slam on Brad Scioli. And with the referees, once you get that arm around the backside of a player, they are right on top of it.
So first down and 20. At the 26. Draw play again. Allen, and Allen chopped down. Nice open field tackle by Corey Bird, the safety. But the Texans are waiting for this man to return. 5-time Pro Bowl selection Tony Baselli, who's coming off double shoulder surgery, but it seems like he's healing up pretty quickly. He's been practicing with the practice team, and they say he could be back after the bye. And not only will he, Brent, be a great player, but also a great leader for our young offensive line.
And you mentioned it right there, Gus, a great leader, and he's a force out on the field and just gives not only the whole line, but his quarterback, young David Carr, so much more confidence. And it's going to be a few more weeks, but it'll be worth the wait.
Here's Allen with running room at the 30, and Allen goes down at the 34. Mike Peterson on the outside making the hit. It's a gain of 8.
Gus, I'm really impressed with James Allen. I mean, here's a young player that can make something happen here in Houston this year. Catching the ball in the backfield, pounding the ball up inside. 5'10", 215. He's a little dump truck. He's got the dump truck thing going.
But
he's a little fat. He can get into third and fourth gear, though.
He's got some great feet. You're right.
He's a supercharged dump truck.
4 years with the Chicago Bears. And a whistle.
Charge timeout, Indianapolis. This is their first charge team timeout.
So the Colts call a timeout, 6:42 to go, first quarter of play. No score from Houston. Beautiful shot of Herman Park just north of the Medical Center in Houston. No score, 6:42 to go in the first quarter. Gus Johnson, Brent Jones from Reliant Stadium.
I guess we talked about manageable third downs. 3rd and 12 isn't what you're calling manageable. This is an obvious passing situation. Watch the Colts turn less the pass rush.
Texans 3 of 30 on third down conversions this year. Carr out of the shotgun. Dumps it over the middle. Allen looking for that first down. Dives forward. He may have it. Mike Peterson tripping him up, but Allen is close to the first down, and he will be a yard short. It's a gain of 11. And they're calling for a measurement, but he's clearly short from my vantage point.
And this isn't a time where you want to go for it. This is a time, Gus, where you want to use your punter, get some field position, try to lock up the Colts inside the 20, keep that clock ticking. And we had that penalty early on that put the Texans back, and they're going to end up being about a half a yard short on this, Gus. But still, I think the right call here at home, kick it away, keep that clock moving. You see we're down to 6:21 in the first quarter. Try to get out of the first quarter without a Colts score. That'd be a great win for this Texan defense.
And as Dom Capers told us, they want to limit the Colts offense to between 12 and 13 offensive possessions as opposed to 15 or 16. And so far they're off to a good start. The Colts ready to get the ball on offense for only the second time here in the first quarter.
There you go. Shorten the game. And Coach Capers talked about it. Hey, if we can go ahead and get into the fourth quarter and be within striking distance, maybe we can come up with a big play and shock them.
Chad Stanley leads the NFL with 9 punts inside the 20, standing at his own 30. High wobbly kick. And Walters with the Bearcat signal at the 19. A 35-yard punt. And Peyton Manning and the Colts ready to trot back on the field. .6:05 to go, first quarter. Indianapolis and Houston scoreless. Colts take over at their own 20, first down and 10. Edgerrin James lines up in the backfield. Peyton Manning calling the play at the line of scrimmage. Here's the pitch to James. And Edgerrin nowhere to go, met by a sea of white jerseys. Kylie Wong leading the way. Second down and 12. And the rushing yards so far -4 for the Colts. At the 18. Play clock down to 10. Manning fires over the middle. It's caught, but nowhere to go for Reggie Wayne. Aaron Glenn covering. And Aaron Glenn has a lot of experience, Brent, playing against this Indianapolis team.
Of course, coming from the New York Jets, and the Colts respect Aaron Glenn so much, and he is one of the top defensive backs in this National Football League, and he just seems to glide out there. Great speed, great ball hawking skills, a great man-to-man cover guy, which you have to be able to have in the zone blitzing scheme of the Houston Texans.
Played at nearby Nimitz High School in Humble, Texas. Third down 9 at the 21. They need to go to the 30 for a first down. Manning pumping, looking, firing. Oh, a strike to Marvin Harrison at the 45. Marvin Harrison wide open. And it's a gain of 27 yards. Aaron Glenn ushers him out of bounds.
And guys, I don't know if there's a receiver in the league that I like watching more than Marvin Harrison. Watch this. Let's ISO his pattern. A little stutter goes, stop. Aaron Glenn thinks he's going deep, and he comes back on the comeback route. Marvin Harrison, Gus, really glides more than any person I know. It looks like his feet don't even touch the ground. He is so tough to defend, gets so much double coverage as well.
And Marvin Harrison in 7 seasons already with Hall of Fame numbers. First down and 10 at the 47. Another play fake. Manning, nobody home. Manning bounces out of the pocket, wants to run, and wisely slides down in front of Jamie Sharper. So nice coverage in the secondary by the Texans.
That was great coverage in the secondary. And here's Aaron Glenn on Marvin Harrison again. This time you see double coverage. They got a safety coming out over the top. It looks like Marvin's open early, but Peyton was getting flushed out of the pocket. At that point, Marvin Harrison's going to maybe become a blocker. No, I'm going to still be a receiver. And Aaron Glenn comes right back into the zone, gets right in his kitchen.
Second down and 10 at the 47. Marvin Harrison has caught 400 catches from Peyton Manning. This time to the sideline, make that 401 in front of Glenn. And Aaron Glenn, he's guarded some of the best in the business. And we kind of asked him, who's your top 5?
And he went right down. Hey, he wasn't even hesitating. Marvin Harrison, Jimmy Smith, Keyshawn, Terrell Owens, and Isaac Bruce. And we said, so you don't think Randy Moss is in there? And he said, whoa, 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 whoa. Top 6, top 6. Yeah, we forgot about Randy Moss.
The freak. 2-time Pro Bowler, Aaron Glenn. 185 pounds, but lightning quickness.
And guys, here's where you can take a shot. 3rd and half a yard play action. Maybe get one of your tight ends open down the middle of the field.
James and Detron Smith in the backfield. Here's Edgerrin James. And he rumbles forward, picks up the first down, stopped by Jerry DeLoach. 2:45 to go in the first quarter. No score.
And Gus, that's going to be a close mark. I think he's going to have it by the nose of the football, but it looked initially like he was about a half yard by, but it looks like they brought the ball back a little bit, maybe carrying it a little bit low on his hip. But Edgerrin James is so important to this offense, and it's just an amazing comeback, Gus. 10 months from ACL surgery, and I've seen it happen so many times before. And there's the first down. But it's just tough to come back from that surgery without 12 or 14 months. And one of the things that we actually saw in the first series, and we were still doing the intros, but Marvin Harrison almost exclusively in this Colts offense lines up on the right side of the field. His offense is right. And we saw him shift over to the left side a couple times going on one-on-one versus Marcus Coleman, the Texans corner on the right side. And so it's something they don't usually do. And I had a chance to talk to Tom Moore, and we'll talk about it here as the game progresses.
2:40 to go, timeout on the field. Colts are driving. First down and 10 at the Texans 42 for Indianapolis. Manning out of the shotgun. Manning looking up the sideline, wide open receiver, Qadry Ismail waltzes into the end zone, touchdown. A 42-yard strike and a blown coverage on the right side.
Man, that was like stealing right there. I think Marcus Coleman thought that he had safety help over the top, or he bit on that play action to Edgerrin James, and Qadry Ismail is going right down the sideline. Let's see Coleman. And see, when you get that bump, Gus, right there, that right arm, he thought he had safety help over the top. You see Brown getting over late. Somebody bit on that play action fake. You don't want to point guys out, but Marcus Coleman thought that was zone coverage, was safety help.
Eric Brown, the safety on that side. Extra point is up and good. So Qadry Ismail, last year, a 1,000-yard season and 7 touchdowns with Baltimore. And he picks up his 3rd touchdown of the year, a strike from Peyton Manning, and the Colts take the 7-0 lead.
And Gus, let's see what happened on that touchdown. You see double coverage right here, down below on Marvin Harrison. Now Eric Brown's got the tight end, Marcus Pollard, one-on-one man coverage. Now on the outside, Marcus Coleman thinks he's got safety help over the top. Miscommunication. You see the jam and expect that safety help. Here's Qadry Ismail. There's nobody home. You've got to communicate, and we always talk about communication on offense. You got to communicate on defense as well.
Avion Black in for Jermaine Lewis, and Black trying to run it outside and is gang tackled at the 19. Jermaine Lewis has been taken into the locker room to have shoulder x-rays. So the Texans give up the big play, and now they take over at their own 19. Baxter, Allen in the backfield. Here's Allen spinning, and Allen stumbling forward up to the 23. Rob Morris, the middle linebacker, in on the play.
And David Carr needs James Allen to perform. He needs a running game. That will take the pressure off that pass rush that he continues to get. And so this Texan team needs to continue to try to establish the run, give their offensive linemen a chance.
Texans on the season averaging 88 yards rushing per game. Here's Carr to pass. In trouble, dumps it off, incomplete. Closest man to the football was Baxter, but the Colts brought everybody, and David Carr wisely gets rid of it.
And it looked like Jared Baxter was blocking, and maybe he just held his block a little too long. 1 count, 2 extra. He's got to get his head around. You see him starting to run there without getting his head around. But the pressure became too quick.
And Brent, as they told us this week, Dom Capers said that his quarterback earned the respect of his team after being dropped 9 times last week.
You know, I think probably the greatest play of that game was David Carr in the end zone. He's about to get sacked. Junior Sales holding onto his leg, and he dives and he reaches the ball out across the goal line, preventing a safety.
3rd down, 7 at the 22. Carr short drop, throws the slant, and it's incomplete. In and out of the hands of Jabbar Gaffney, the rookie from Florida. Walt Harris, the former Chicago Bear, delivering a blow. And the Texans are forced to punt it away.
And Gus, their second 3 and out for today, and that just kills you because it gives the Colts too many opportunities to take control of that ball. And we saw the one Texan drive that had a chance. They had a holding penalty that brought them back. But that's exactly the things that you don't want on offense. You're not going to shorten the game at all if you keep having 3 and outs.
Chad Stanley at the 7. Walters back deep at his own 35. Beautiful high spiraling kick. Walters catches it at the 33, up the sideline. Walters breaks free down the sideline, and Walters is corralled at the 32. A 45-yard punt and a 34-yard return.
And let's watch Walters, a little shake and bake coming down the left sideline. Gets hit, hangs onto the ball, little juke in and out. Good block there, maybe a little bit of a clip. Wasn't called. Nice spin move. And that's exactly, and we've talked, Gus, offense, we've talked defense, but the Texans really believe that not giving up big plays on defense and special teams can keep them in most games. And they've given up a big play on defense, and now they've given up a big play on the special teams.
Troy Walters claimed off waivers from Minnesota. 1st down and 10 now for the Colts. at the Houston 33. Here's Manning over the middle. That one caught by Wiggins. Fumbles the ball. And the Texans have it. And that is the second time in 2 weeks that Wiggins has had a ball in his hands, bobbled it, this time a turnover. He did it last week versus Miami.
And Gus, it's so tough to get that out of your head. You lose confidence as a receiver. You think every time you're going to get hit, you're going to lose that ball. You see Jermaine. Now get 2 hands on that big man. You see him just covering it with his left hand. You're going to take shots from all kinds of angles when you're in the middle of the field. You've got to get 2 on it when you're a tight end. Guys are flying at you from all different angles. Hey, Jermaine Wiggins can play ball. He can be a big tight end in this game. But you've got to be smart when you've got the ball in your hands.
A disappointed Wiggins on the sideline. First down and 10 now for Houston at the 26. And they hand it off on the stretch to Allen. Nowhere to go. Closing on the play is Doring. Josh Doring, a second-year man from Wisconsin.
And the Colts having 5 turnovers coming into this game, and now they're up to 6. You just can't hamstring your offense like that. And we've had, everybody talks about Peyton Manning's interceptions, but he's had a few balls go right through his receivers' hands. He's had some fumbles. Those aren't Peyton Manning's fault. And that's exactly where the ball had to go. Over the middle, the linebackers drop, big free space, and it's tough to come back from that one because it stays in your head.
Second down, 10 at the 26. Carr rolling, firing on the run, and it's picked off. That one picked off. Number 28, Dries Bashir, intercepts it, and that one in and out of the hands of Rod Rutledge.
And we were just talking about the balls going through receivers' hands, and tight ends especially. What a throw by David Carr, away from him, running out of the pocket, right in Rod Rutledge's hands. Rod's got to look that ball in, catch it right now, and go down. Don't try to get yards. And you saw an arm in there knock the ball out once he double caught it initially. You got to catch it clean the first time. Look it in, big man, and take it right there.
First down, 10 now at the 41. Back-to-back turnover. Colts in good shape once again. This time it's Edgerrin James. And Edgerrin James goes down at the 35. Aaron Klenn in on the tackle. A 6-yard pickup. And that's the end of the first quarter with the score. The Colts 7, the Texans nothing. We'll be back to Houston after this message. You're watching the National Football League on CBS. Start of the second quarter, and the Colts have a 7-0 lead with the ball at the Houston 35. Gus Johnson, Brent Jones, and Texans have had some opportunities, but that turnover by Rod Rutledge really cost them.
Yeah, well, running that deep over route, when that ball is in your breadbasket, you got to hang on to it. And David Carr made a heck of a throw getting flushed out of the pocket. David Carr can't do it all by himself. And obviously the #1 pick and came from Fresno State, and everybody expected him to really lift this team to great heights, and he's going to, but he needs some help. So
got to catch the ball.
Yeah, got to catch the ball. I say that all the time.
Second down, 4 for Indianapolis at the 35. They hand it off to James. Following his blocks, Edgerrin James pops it outside, gets down the sideline. James, what patience. Edgerrin James to the 15, a gain of 20. And talk about letting your blocks develop.
Well, Edgerrin James is just phenomenal at letting the block set up. And coming back from that knee surgery, watch the patience right here. Hand on the back, see the hole, hit it, bounce outside, get down the field. It looks like he's just running so smooth. He's going so fast, Gus. It doesn't look like he's exerting a lot of energy. But Edgerrin James is the most solid all-around back, I think, in the National Football League.
Won 2 rushing titles.
Even more so than Marshall Faulk.
I don't know about that.
I like him better.
Here's James over the left side, another big opening. And Edgerrin James pulled down from behind at the 8-yard line. Marcus Coleman with the hit.
And I know you don't agree with my comparison to Marshall Faulk, and And you know what? I don't think the Rams use Marshall Faulk enough. Edgerrin James is used every game by the Colts. He's a huge part of their offense, rushing the ball, catching the ball out of the backfield, and that's where he can really hurt you. Those one-on-one matchups with linebackers, he can just destroy you.
6 carries, 30 yards. Second down 4 at the Texans 9. Now Manning audibling. Here's the handoff, rather play fake, and Manning trying to cut it in. He didn't fool anybody except me. Manning gets to the 7. Eric Brown with the tackle.
And you're a tough guy to fool. And I don't know if that was a planned play. I don't know if you want Peyton on the bootleg. Well, yeah, it was. They must have saw something that the Texans do, and maybe just fast flow defense. You've got those aggressive, fast linebackers, but they stayed home that time. It almost made it look like a broken play, but that was definitely a fake.
And last week versus Miami, the Colts scored on only 1 of 5 possessions inside the red zone.
It's Marvin Harrison time right here, Gus.
Third down 3 at the 8. And a timeout by Indianapolis. And that is their second timeout. Colts have 1 left. 12:59 to play in the second, up 7-0. 12:59 to play in the second, and the Colts are threatening once again at the Texans 8, and the fans on their feet here at the Reliant. Manning in the shotgun. The handoff to Edgerrin James, bouncing it, nowhere to go. Gary Walker got him from behind. Gary Walker with feline quickness attacking the ball carrier.
Feline quickness, I like that. You're not going to pull Gary Walker, Gus, down there inside the 10-yard line. He was all over this run. You see him work outside, pound through the tackles. Nice job, and he gets that big claw on you, feline. You're coming down.
So the Colts looking to settle for a field goal. A 26-yarder by Mike Vanderjagt. It's up and it's good. So the Texans defense holds. And with 12:22 to play in the second, Indianapolis takes a 10-0 lead. Yeah, beautiful aerial shot of downtown Houston. And the Colts have the lead over the Texans 10-0. As you look at the scoring drive, could have been worse though for the Texans. Gary Walker coming up with a big play. Jermaine Lewis back into the game, allows the ball to take a bounce, fields it from inside his own 5. Detron Smith chasing him and drags him down at the 12. Great special teams play by Detron Smith, the former Denver Bronco. Gus Johnson along with Brent Jones, my partner of 4 years now, and what an amazing place to come watch a football game, this Reliant Stadium.
It doesn't get any better than this, and we were all over it. The weight room, the suites. I didn't want to go home yesterday after I was being out here. It was spectacular. It's easily the best stadium right now in the National Football League, and the fans just sit right on top of you. It's so amazing being down on the field and just feeling like there's walls right up the side. You're just very intimidating place to play, I can imagine.
First down and 10 for David Carr at his own 12. Quick strike, and it's Gaffney with the catch, and he is taken down immediately by Nick Harper. As you take a look at today's leaders, Carr 4 of 7, 1 interception, that one not his fault. Rod Rutledge dropping the football. They hand it off to Jonathan Wells, the rookie out of Ohio State, who had 1,300 yards rushing last season. A 4th-round pick, and he feels that he's a power back and can really help this team tackle to tackle.
And you know where one of the areas, Gus, this Texans offense needs to exploit is underneath. If you'd say there's a weakness in the Colts defense, it's in the linebacker position on coverage. They had some trouble with Miami last week, a couple of blown coverages, and that's where you want to hit these guys, the 5 to 6 yard range in the middle of the field.
Third down 5 at the 17. They need to go to the 23.5. Carr steps up in the pocket looking for the first down, gets outside, and Carr gets it. Nicely done by David Carr, and he got a tremendous block from Avion Black.
And Avion laid the heat and gave David Carr some room to run, and there's his wife Melody, and she's just happy her husband didn't take another shot because it looked like he was all set up to. Watch the shot. Avion Black just coming in and taking a shot and giving David Carr an opportunity to get that first down.
First down and 10 at the 23. And all kinds of movement. Looks like this will go against the Texans.
And Gus, that's one of those deals where it's on one and the center thinks it's on two.
False start. Offense. Number 70. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
All right, Jim. As you mentioned, 10-0 right here. Dick Vermeil, his team doing a good job on the road today. Had that big road win over Cleveland week 1. And the Texans running the ball. Here's a rookie again, Jonathan Wells, picks up 8.
And Jonathan Wells, a 4th-round pick of the Texans, and I think a lot of people think that was a big steal in the draft. A lot of experts had him pegged to go in the middle of the 2nd round. You see the size on the big running backs, got some speed, just needs to be a little bit more decisive out there, and I think that's part of coming to a new offense and learning things. You're thinking so much, you aren't reacting as well, but had a couple of big runs already today.
2nd down 7 at the 26. This time they give it to Wells. Wells breaking free. Here's Wells down the sideline. Jonathan Wells all the way down to the Indianapolis 35, a gain of 37. And this young man said that he's going to make all the people that overlooked him pay. And he did it on that run.
And Gus, if you're around Houston, you see a lot of 32 jerseys. And Jonathan Wells, you might as well say, hey, everybody's wearing my jersey. I'm everyone's favorite player. But actually, when the NFL awarded this 32nd franchise to Houston, of course, that was the initial jersey they came out with.
First down and 10 at the Indianapolis 37. Play action. Carr looking up top for Black in the end zone. Broken up at the last moment by Walt Harris. Avion Black, the intended receiver. And that one underthrown.
And Avion Black didn't get beyond Walt Harris. Walt Harris wasn't going anywhere. And David Carr just throwing it up and taking a shot, seeing if his receiver can come down with it. But you see Walt Harris right there with almost an interception. And Walt Harris is a good cover guy. In fact, if I'm an Indianapolis Colts fan, I'm curious. And there's the shot on David Carr, and he's taking a lot of those. One of the challenges for a good cover corner like that is, hey, you're going to play a lot of cover 2 in Tony Dungy's new style of defense.
And that's now what does cover 2
mean? A lot
of
cover 2. It's too deep zone, Gus, and so those cornerbacks don't get as much opportunity to play man coverage. And so sometimes you get bored out there jamming receivers and playing into the flat, and you see right there he had Avion Black deep. But a lot of this cover 2 means he's going to just cover the flat and the hook zone right out in the flat, and sometimes as a corner, you know, Dion, he'd have been bored with that. He would not have accepted that at all.
2nd and 10 at the 37. Bradford in motion, draw play, James Allen. Allen just lowers his head and is knocked backwards, maybe a yard. Rob Morris, the middle linebacker, with the hit on the play.
And see, these are the situations that prove tough for the Texans. 3rd and 8, you know they're going to throw. Now, last week's game, they had 10 out of 14 third downs, Gus, were over 3rd and 9. That is tough to convert, and what that does is it puts a lot of pressure on your offensive linemen because everybody knows you're going to throw it.
3rd down 9 at the 36. They need to go to the 27.5 or first. Out of the shotgun, 4 receivers set. Carr underneath, it's incomplete. Intended for Juwan Dawson, who was picked up from Cleveland. And the Texans come up empty on 3rd down once again, and this time they bring in their kicker, Chris Brown. Brown is 2 of 2 on the season, good from 45 and 42 yards. And let's see where they spot this one. At about the 44, so a 54-yard attempt.
And guys, that's right on the outskirts of Chris Brown's range. He's good 50, 52, 54. You start having to drive it a little bit.
His career long is 55 against Kansas City, October 14th of 2001. Stanley the holder. They get it down. It's up. Looks like he has the distance. Oh, it hit the upright. It hit the right upright. Back to Houston after this.
Gus, let's take another look at that kick. Chris Brown getting his whole leg into it. Watch how high up on the crossbar this hits. This kick's going to be good from 65. I said it was on the outside of his range. Bang, it hits way up there. Better check that ball for helium.
Oh, what do you know?
Jeez, just been studying these kickers. That's all I do when I go out on the field before the game.
Chris Brown sits on the sideline. New life here in Houston. Struggled mightily in the new stadium in Pittsburgh 1 year ago. First down and 10 at the 44 for Peyton Manning and company. Here's a play fake. Manning looking, dumps it off to Edgerrin James. James with the loose stutter step and just walks it out of bounds at midfield in front of Jay Foreman. Second down and 3 at the Houston 49. Edgerrin James and nowhere wrapped up and dropped quickly by Keith Mitchell. And they are excited about the former Pro Bowler in his 6th season out of Texas A&M.
And coming over from the Saints, Keith Mitchell's really a pass rush linebacker, can make some things happen. And the linebackers have to be the strength of this Texans defense. And that's what Dom Capers has had everywhere he's been. Phenomenal linebackers. And defensive coordinator Vic Fangio, who came over, quite ironically, Gus, from the Colts, has really instilled a linebacker-friendly defense.
Lost a yard, 3rd and 4 at the 50. They need to go to the 46 for a first down. Manning, and Manning ridden down. Jeff Posey, 2nd sack of the game. And Posey has been a house of fire in the first half.
And let's see if Posey's on Tara Glenn again, and we gave him that power rush last time. You see Tara Glenn hitting the ground. There goes Posey right by him. Jeff Posey brings a unique combination of pass rush ability and some speed. He gets good leverage, Gus, stays low, and continues to make big plays for this Texan defense.
Former San Francisco 49er, Jaguar, and Panther. Avion Black, that deep high snap, handled by Hunter Smith. Here's Black from the 14. Black making the first one miss. Black all the way up to the 27. Tackled by Justin Snow, but a 46-yard punt and a 12-yard return. David Carr started the game 3 of 3 since he's 1 of 6. Has had some drop balls, though. Carr firing to Bradford, and his favorite receiver takes it up to the 32. Corey Bird with the hit, a 6-yard pickup. Field position always important, especially for an old coach. And Indianapolis is average, from their own 47, Brett?
Yeah, that's exactly what Coach Capers didn't want to see, Gus. And actually, they're fortunate right now with field position like that to be down only 10-0. And I think, I'm always a tight end centric guy. But you got to get Billy Miller, the receiving tight end, get him in the action over the middle of the ball.
2nd down 4 at the 32. And it's Wells skipping, and Wells loses yardage on the play, maybe 3. Rob Morris, the middle linebacker, with the play. Morris missed 9 games as a rookie with injuries, but in his 3rd season, out of BYU, first-round pick. He is the leader on defense. It comes out on 3rd down here. 3rd down 6 at the 30. And the Texans need to go to the 36 for first down. James Allen back into the game at tailback. Here comes a blitz. Carr with strike, almost intercepted. Mike Peterson had 2 hands on the football, just couldn't hold on.
Wow, and that was a touchdown for Mike Peterson, and he's just looking at David Carr's eyes right there, and David focusing in on his receiver on the outside in that slant route, reading the blitz, which is the correct call. The receiver obviously made the correct move. You can't have your eyes looking out there the whole time, and there's going to be things that David learns throughout this year. They're going to help him tremendously, and I really believe in the baptism by fire approach. Let's let your quarterback get in, play, make good plays, make bad plays, and learn.
That's what they did with Peyton Manning when he was drafted by the Colts. As Walters called it a fair catch and has it at the 33. First down and 10 at the 33. They fire it to Marvin Harrison. And Harrison up to the 36. Tackled by Marcus Coleman on the play.
And Gus, earlier in the program, we talked about Marvin Harrison almost exclusively lining up on the right side, other than a few times during games where he goes to the left in the slot. But he actually lined up to the left against Marcus Coleman a few times early in the game. And we haven't seen him back there, but that's one of the things that Tom Moore talked about here when I talked to him on the field before the game, and I'll tell you why here in a little bit.
Second down and 7 at the 36. Manning, quick strike, that one underthrown for Pollard. Covering on the play, Aaron Glenn.
And one of the most underappreciated, unheralded offensive coordinators in this game, I think, is Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts. And Gus, he had been with the Pittsburgh Steelers way back when with a couple of guys called Lynn Swann and John Stallworth. And he told me, hey, Swann always wanted to be on the right, Stallworth on the left, and they got used to making their breaks from that side, and I just always figured it made a lot of sense.
And you were in camp with him as well.
I was hurt and just sat there and wanted John Stallworth's autograph.
Third down 7 at the 36. Peyton Manning up the sideline, wide open. Marvin Harrison with the first down at the Texans 40.
And what a great job of seeing the field. Peyton Manning, just spectacular, looking for Marvin. You see him on the top against Aaron Glenn, one-on-one. Aaron Glenn takes the bite on the out move. You don't see him do that an awful lot, but he took the bite, went right for that first down on the square out, and Marvin Harrison run a little square out and up, and he wasn't the primary receiver. Peyton Manning was looking left, came back to the right side, saw his big favorite receiver wide open.
Harrison, 4 catches, 62 yards. Colts driving again at the Houston 40. Edger and James breaking it, and James dragged down from behind at the 27 by Jay Foreman. A 14-yard pickup.
Let's watch the right side of that Colts offensive line. Ryan Deem, Adam Meadows making some things happen, pushing their players, defensive players down inside, opening up that hole, that cutback lane for Edger and James, who sees those holes as well as any back in the league. And you got to give credit to this offensive line for the Colts. I don't know if people realize what a great job they do on the run and pass protection.
James last week versus Miami, 30 carries, 138 yards, looking for some room here, nothing doing. Keith Mitchell and Jamie Sharper in on the play. And I tell you what, Dom Capers knows how to coach linebackers.
Oh, man, I know firsthand. This group right here in New Orleans that he had initially might have been the best group of linebackers in NFL history. Those guys could hit you, run, rush the passer, and then look at those fellows he has in Pittsburgh. And Carolina, unfortunately, I had to play against all those guys, and it is very linebacker friendly, all Pro Bowlers. And so if you're a linebacker and you're playing for Dom Capers, you're feeling really good about yourself.
Second down and 10 at the 26. Manning fires into the flats, and it's caught. Joe Dean Davenport close to a first down, gets 8 yards on the play. Matt Stevens, the safety, with the tackle. And that takes us to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Colts up 10-0 and knocking on the door once again. Gus Johnson, Brent Jones from Reliance Stadium in Houston, Texas. The Texans 1-1 on the year. The Colts 1-1. First meeting between the two in the new AFC South. Third down, 2 from the 18. Quick strike. Ismael is down, and he will not pick up the first down. And an interesting call there for Peyton Manning. Trying to throw the quick screen, loses 3 yards. And that will bring on the field goal team. What was this, Brent?
That was a quick screen, Gus, and I don't know about the call right there. I think Peyton delivers it a little low. And you see, once Ismail hits the ground with his knee, there's no getting up and making anything happen right there. And here comes a crucial 3 for this Colts offense.
Vanderjagt good from 26 today. This is a 39-yarder. It's up and good. Mike Vanderjagt, the most accurate field goal kicker in NFL history, gives Indianapolis a 13-0 lead. The Colts lead the Texans. A minute and 22 remaining, and the drive 8 plays, 46 yards. But we told you about this Houston pass defense, and they are keeping this Indianapolis team out of the end zone.
They sure tighten up inside that red zone, and you know the Colts have struggled a little bit in the red zone this year. Last week against Miami, they had 5 trips down inside the red zone, only came away with 1 touchdown, 2 field goals, and really when that area for your receivers gets compressed, that's really when you can use a Marcus Pollard or an Edgerrin James coming out of the backfield. You've got to be able to have the patience to throw underneath and make an impact there. But this quick defense, quick linebacking crew, quick defensive backs of the Houston Texans has done a pretty impressive job thus far.
Colts send it away. Avion Black is back at his own 7. Black looking for running room, and he's wrapped up and ridden down at the 25 by Sam Sword. A 17-yard return. David Carr back on the field for the final 117. He started quickly, but has faded since. And as I mentioned, he's had some drop balls. And receivers have to realize that for a young guy, every completion is a confidence builder.
Very much so, and not only just for the quarterback, but for the offensive line, who's yet to give up a sack, I think, thus far today. And that's a pretty impressive half. That's really a group that's come together and say, hey, we're not going to let our quarterback get sacked.
Chris Palmer, their offensive coordinator, changed the offense this week. Here's Allen looking, and Allen not going north and south. Kind of got caught up east and west and picks up 3.
And we've talked about some of the issues that this Colts defense has faced. They've had a little problems on the underneath coverage with their linebackers dropping into pass coverage, and we haven't seen the Texans try to take advantage of that over the middle of the field yet.
They drop it underneath. It's James Allen, and Allen is chopped down by David Thornton, the former walk-on at the University of North Carolina, rookie 4th-round pick. Hurry-up offense now for the Texans. 3rd down 2 at the 33. Carr firing a missile at midfield. Avion Black cradling the football, and it's incomplete.
Now, I wonder if that skipped, because from up here it looked like Avion Black had the catch, and maybe that ball was tipped. That's right in there, right in the gut.
He's got to catch the ball.
On a deep post like that, Gus, or a deep look in, you've got to be able to hang on to that ball. Quarterback threads the needle, gets it right into your gut. You've got to make the plays when they're presented in this league.
And David Carr has had 3 drops in the first half. So Stanley in the punt with 32 seconds remaining. Troy Walters standing inside his own 30. Wobbly kick. Walters fielded at the 28. Still running, breaks it back, looking for a seam. Got a block and goes out of bounds at about the 36. And after getting clobbered by Miami, to go to Knoxville and win, you could put a huge feather in your
This is their first charge team
cap.
timeout.
Timeout. Back after this. Indianapolis with 1 timeout remaining, 13-0. The Colts lead the Texans. 18 seconds to go, and I believe the Colts will take a knee, and yes,
okay, guys,
they'll head into the locker room with the 13-0 lead. So, partner, your reaction to this first half?
Well, I think the Texans continue to battle, and I think the Colts would like to come away with more touchdowns in the red zone. But this Texan team has to realize you can't drop passes and have penalties and still expect to be there in the 4th quarter.
And that's the end of the first half with the score 13-0. Jim, Dion, Boomer, and Dan will be along from our studios in New York with the Nextel halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. In Houston, where the Colts lead the Texans 13-0. Hi, everybody. Gus Johnson along with Brent Jones. If you're Indianapolis, you're a little bit disappointed, even though you're leading. But if you're Houston, you have to be pleased in a sense with the way the defense has played in the first half.
And I think between the 20s, the Colts offense has looked really good. But inside the red zone, that Houston Texan defense has really tightened up, and the Colts have come away with a couple field goals. That's not what you want if you're an Indianapolis Colts fan. On the other side, the Texans, they've been able to stay in the game mainly because of the defense, but they've got to make something happen on offense. They've got to utilize the middle of the field, make a big play happen, maybe Corey Bradford down the sideline. One of the most amazing things, I think, coming into halftime is look at the sacks that the Texans' offensive line have allowed. 0. That's pretty impressive. David Carr, who's hitting the ground 15 times these last 2 weeks, no sacks for a whole half a play, and you've got to be happy about that.
And the time of possession pretty even for both teams. David Carr has kind of had his opportunities, but receivers have dropped 3 passes in the first half. And, you know, when you're an expansion team, it's tough to win early. And Dom Capers knows it. And usually, you struggle a bit, not since the AFL-NFL merger.
2,
as we take a look at the liftoff. Expansion teams and their opening records. Let's see.
We have a liftoff.
Tampa Bay, Seattle, Jacksonville, Carolina, Cleveland all started 0-2 except for, that's right, the Houston Texans. 1-1 beginning with that dramatic opening night win over the Dallas Cowboys. Dom Capers and the entire city of Houston elated to beat Jerry Jones and the Cowboys in their first ever game, 19-10. And talking to a lot of people that we've come across during our stay in Houston, and they said, hey, you can go 1-15, but as long as you beat the Cowboys. That's already been accomplished.
That's right.
Indianapolis with the ball to start the second half. Walters returning, and Walters stumbles forward all the way up to the 28. A 26-yard return. Troy Evans with the tackle on special teams.
And I'm sure, Gus, going into halftime, this Indianapolis Colts heard something from their offensive coordinator, Tom Moore, about, hey, we've got to complete drives. We've got to come away with touchdowns. And it wasn't a slap yourselves on the back and go, hey, fantastic, we're ahead 13-0 at halftime. And I imagine that they're going to come out here in the second half with a little sense of urgency.
So Peyton Manning starts at his own 29. Play action, Manning looking underneath a wide open receiver. It's Marvin Harrison, and he has the ball at midfield, a gain of 22.
And you talk about coming out gunslinging, little play action, freeze those safeties. You see the fake to Edgerrin James right there, and here comes Marvin Harrison right across the middle, right into your screen. Big pickup for the Colts.
Marvin Harrison, another big game, 5 catches, 84 yards. First down at the 49. Edgerrin James skipping, kicking, looking, toes down at the 43. And Marvin Harrison, since 1999, he has been the best receiver in the NFL. Look at these gaudy numbers. First in receptions, first in yards, first in touchdowns.
And that's with a whole lot of double teams, Gus. And I was talking to Marvin on the field before the game. I said, Marvin, how do you do it against double teams all the time? You are the toughest guy to cover. And he just said, hey, thanks. Sometimes I don't even know how I do it.
Second down and 4 at the 43. Edgerrin James over the left side, and James stood up and finally taken down inside the 40 by Jamie Sharper. And now that offensive line starting to fire off the ball for Indianapolis. But let's see what happens if they're able to get inside the red zone, which is the 20-yard line.
And you know, you talk about Edgerrin James and Marvin Harrison. They're both such quiet men off the field.
They certainly are.
And that's maybe why they don't get all the publicity. They're not trying to attract all the attention to themselves. They don't do a whole lot of interviews. They don't stand up and point to themselves. They're just very humble. Let your play speak for itself.
First down and 10 at the 38. Here's Manning dropping back deep, firing underneath. Marcus Pollard with the catch, and he's tripped up by Sharper. And Pollard missed last week's game against Miami with a chest injury, but last year he really came on, had a career year in receptions, yards, and touchdowns. 47 catches, close to 800 yards receiving, and 8 touchdowns. And so interesting for a man that didn't play college football, was a basketball player at Bradley in Indianapolis.
And you can just tell by the way that he uses his body and finds that zone. And got those really nice soft hands. He could really make some things happen. The X factor for the Colts, I think.
Here's James around the right side, and he's taken down at 30. But the tight end position, a guy like Peyton Manning is such a great student of the game of football, and you know that a guy like Pollard, if you're Manning, can really help your team win ball games.
Oh, absolutely. And Peyton's so used to seeing some of that too deep coverage and, you know, double coverage on both wide receivers, and that's when you can utilize your tight end over the middle of the field if he can have the speed to get down the field, which Pollard does.
Pollard poised to have a huge season, especially since Ken Gilger, the starter last year, has been sent away. 3rd and 1 at the 29. Edgerrin James leans forward. I don't know. They needed to get to about the 28.5-yard line. Let's see where they spot it. I think that James will be short of the first down. So here comes the field goal team on the field again. And
Gus, we've seen the Colts try to run the ball a few times today on 3rd and short and be shut down by this Texans defense. And Marcus Coleman making the stop, coming up from the corner position.
Brings on Mike Vanderjagt, good from 26 and 39. And Vanderjagt gets it up and will not get this one. A 47-yard attempt, wide right. 10:57 to play, 13-0. So the Texans have their best starting field position of the day at their own 38. And Brent, you feel it's time for them to open it up a little bit.
Take the shot, Gus. Corey Bradford can run. I think you got to take a shot now and maybe make a big play, get back in this game.
First down and 10 at the 38. And this is Wells over the left side with a huge opening. He picks up 10 yards and a Texans first down. Marcus Washington with the tackle.
And let's watch the left side of that line. Let's watch big number 69, Chester Pitts, kick out block right there, allowing for Wells to get up and hit that hole. And you know, when you start 5 rookies on your offense, there's going to be some growing pains. But Chester Pitts, big left tackle, is a bright spot here without Tony Baselli here in the early part of the season.
And that's Corey Bird, the injured player on the field. We'll step away. 10:42 to go in the third. 13-0, Indy. That's Cancer Survivor Park, located by the Houston Medical Center. Our score, Indianapolis 13-0 on top of the Texans. And Chris Bird has to be helped off the field. He may have injured his knee at the end of the play. And he did. He twisted that left knee. Goes backwards. One more look.
And you see Corey Bird sticking his head in there right here, takes the initial shot, little whiplash factor, and I think his knee gets rolled over at that point, and then takes another shot, bang, right there on his head.
Corey Bird, second year out of Virginia Tech, was a reserve in 14 games last year. Now the starter. Second down and 1 at the 47. They hand it off to Wells, and Wells with even more running room, and he picks up close to 5. Mike Peterson with the tackle, and everybody knows that Indianapolis can score points, but Tony Dungy was brought to the Colts for one reason and one reason only: the defense.
Absolutely. And the last 3 or 4 years, maybe last 3 years, they had a playoff style of offense, and their defense had just let them down tremendously. And so Tony Dungy comes in, brings in his style of defense, which is a lot of cover 2, double coverage on those wide receivers.
Play action underneath. That ball tipped Rutledge, the intended receiver, but Rob Morris got back in pass coverage and managed to redirect the football. There's Rob.
And watch Rob Morris right here. 94, he's going to come up with that play fake, but then watch him get back in coverage, which is one of the problems they had last week. You see him make that move, get his arm up right in front of Rutledge and knocks that ball down.
2nd down, 10 at the 48. Here's a draw play, and nowhere to go for Wells, but a flag on the play. Chad Bratsky with the hit. It's a holding against Houston.
And we've seen a couple times today in crucial instances for this Texans offense, a penalty that just can really put you under a lot of pressure on a drive and taking you out of good field position.
We mentioned that the Texans came into this game as the most penalized.
Holding, offense number 70, 10-yard penalty, replay, 2nd down.
The most penalized team in the NFL. Today they have 4 for 40 yards.
And there's Domingo Graham right there, getting his hands up and not letting go. And you see that arm on the back against Scioli. And when the officials see Gus, that arm on the back, that hand, that clamp, they're going to call it every time. Got to be disciplined. Reroute that arm back inside the man's framework.
2nd down, 20 at the 42. Here's Carr underneath. Throws a strike, and that one caught at the 48 of Indianapolis, a 10-yard pickup. Jawan Dawson with the catch in traffic, and another flag. Looks like a skirmish in the middle of the field.
Fred Reary from the Texans mixing it up with the defense of the Indianapolis Colts. Maybe he went out there and drew a personal foul.
After the conclusion of the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 99. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So the Texans get 15 yards and a first down.
And let's watch it. Here's Scioli and Fred Weary. Now you don't want to be the Texan guy that gets the penalty right now. Okay. Both guys a little pushing.
Oh, come on.
That's weak. Yeah, that's
real bad.
That's it. Yeah, it's a little hand fighting. That's not a penalty. But hey, if you're a Texan fan, you'll take it. Right now, it could be the play of the game.
1st down and 10 at the 33. Bradford. And a whistle.
Yeah.
Looks like somebody on the left side of the Texans offensive line moved.
I think it was Domingo Graham.
False start, offense number 70, 5-yard penalty, first down.
It's Domingo Graham.
And you know what, Gus? We saw him hold here a couple plays ago, and one of the things that happens is you get a penalty called on you, you get your name called out, and you've got to refocus. You got to say, hey, I'm not going to worry about it till after the game, because you start thinking about that, and all of a sudden you're trying to come out and hit the guy even harder the next time, and you jump off sides.
5th penalty of the day for the Texans. First down and a long 15. Here's a draw play. Another flag coming up. Wells breaking it. And Wells gets down to the Indianapolis 23, a 16-yard gain. But let's see what the penalty flag represents.
Nice hard count by David Carr, and the Texan offense seemed to stay put. Looks like Colts might have been offside.
Offside, defense, defensive player in the neutral zone at the snap. The penalty is declined. The result of the play, first down.
Let's watch the hard count. Let's see if both of these guys go. Actually, probably here on this side. It looks like, oh, in tandem. Nice hard count. You can afford to do that when you're at home, Gus, and the crowd is in your favor.
Jonathan Wells putting up some great numbers. 6 carries, 60 yards. Here's his 7th carry, hurdling, stutter step, and he gets to the 16. Number 32 has come to play today. Raheem Brock stopping him. But Jonathan Wells, some very positive signs from his tailback position.
And we've seen Jonathan Wells go ahead and step up. He doesn't seem as hesitant as he did the first couple of weeks. He's hitting that hole. He's being very aggressive. Actually, it seems like he's gaining some confidence.
2nd down 4 at the Colts 16. Texans trying to get back into this game right here, right now. Wells again. And Wells, a nice job avoiding a loss. Josh Mallard with the tackle. And Wells may have gained a yard on the play.
And Gus, you mentioned it right there. It was a tremendous job of just avoiding a loss. You don't want to be 3rd and 6. So he goes ahead, he picks up 2 yards, makes it a manageable 3rd and 1. Now at this point, 3rd and 1, you've been getting a few yardage. Actually, maybe it's 3rd and 2, but you're getting some yardage against this Colts defense rushing the ball. So a little play action fake maybe gets those backers to step up. We've seen David Carr try a few passes over the middle of this drive, which is where the Colts might be able to be exposed a little bit.
Play clock winding down at 3, and Carr smartly calls a timeout. Some confusion on the part of the Texans offense. Indianapolis up 13-0, but a big play for the Texans. 3rd down and 2 at the Colts 14. One time have they converted a 3rd down. And here's Carr rolling, looking. Carr leans forward, and he picked up the 1st down. David Carr gets out of bounds. He needed a yard, and he got a yard as he stretches forward.
A little play action, and watch 94 Rob Morris do a great job of covering Wells and not giving David Carr the lane. He just strings it out. Wells has to keep running at this point. You see him all of a sudden stop and shield Morris from David Carr. So at that point, it was a great move by Wells to allow David Carr to reach that ball and get the 1st down.
1st down and 10 at the 11. They give it to Wells over the right side, turns it up, and Wells plows his way to the 6. Jonathan Wells, how about this? 9 carries, 84 yards.
Wow. And you know, this offensive line for the Texans, Gus, has taken some heat the first couple of weeks because of the sacks allowed, but they have been aggressive in their run blocking, and they continue today against this Indianapolis Colts defense that's been much maligned over the last 3 or 4 years.
And Houston averages 88 yards rushing per game. Today, they have 134. Wells leading the way. 2nd and 6 at the 7. Carr wants to throw. Carr looking, Carr, and he stumbles forward to the 5. And that'll bring up 3rd down. So David Carr, the 1st overall selection out of Fresno State, 22 years old. His beautiful wife, Melody, in the stands. They have a 2-year-old son, Austin. And they have embraced Houston. And there's the big guy, Austin. What a name. Especially when Dad plays in Texas. Now Capers would love nothing more than to put it in right here. 3rd down 5 at the 6. They can still get a 1st down at the 1. Here's Carr looking. The ball tipped and incomplete. Tipped at the line of scrimmage. And here comes a field goal team.
And I think Brad Scioli, number 99, is going to get his hands on this ball. Right here at the line of scrimmage, bang, and you see it up in the air. And David Carr had a lane looking for Corey Bradford. Had a little lane to get it in there, and Scioli times it perfectly.
So Chris Brown comes on to attempt the field goal. He missed from 54. The ball hit the right upright. And this is a 24-yard attempt. It's up and perfect. So the Texans get on the board with under 5 to play in the 3rd. 13-3 Indy. Welcome back to Reliance Stadium, a $425 million facility. The first retractable roof in the NFL. And in the 3rd quarter, the Texans trying to mount a comeback. They finally get on the board, 13-3 to score. Chris Brown sends it away. Troy Walters starts at the 5. Walters looking for a hole, and he pops it up to the 28. A 24-yard return. Jason Bell with the tackle on special teams. Back to Houston right after this. Colts up by 10, and I tell you, this is one of the louder stadiums that we've been to. It can really get going in here, and we decided to kind of compare. A whisper is about 20 decibels. A subway train in New York is 100. And right now, it's at 92. First and 10 at the 29. And it's getting louder, almost 100. Edgerrin James over the right side and slides down at the 32. So a subway train in New York, about 100 decibels, a heavy metal concert, 110, and that jet that Brett Jones flies on all the time, 120.
That was pretty good, huh? Yep, 100. You think the fans can get up here to 120?
I think they could get it up there.
I think if they knew this was going on, they would.
We'll wait for a big play. Second down and 7. It's at 94. And rising at the 32. Edgerrin James skipping through the hole, looking for daylight, and Edgerrin James all the way up to the 40. A gain of 8. And sometimes you watch this guy with those little hopping moves, and he reminds you of Barry Sanders. Sanders ran a lot like that.
Very much so. Low to the ground, little herky-jerky, and you just could never tell which way he was going to go. And Edgerrin James has just impacted this league so much with what he does, both rushing and receiving. But he is just real shifty out there, Gus. I would not want to try to tackle him because I think I'd be catching a whole lot of air.
Yes. First down and 10. Indianapolis at the 40. Manning looking underneath. Ismael bobbled it. And Houston a few inches away from forcing a turnover.
And Kadri had a couple right there in the chest today that he just couldn't hang on to, getting down on his knee, and that quick 3-yard hitch route. He's got so much speed, he wants to catch it and go, and when he has to go down, he's thinking about getting up before he catches it.
Second and 10 at the 40. Quick strike, Harrison, and Harrison upended. Nicely done by Aaron Glenn.
And Gus, you're not going to fool Aaron Glenn on that quick pitch route. See playing off right here, but the minute he sees Peyton take that one step, he's coming right up to the line of scrimmage. Great open field tackling. Takes Marvin's knees right out from under him.
Aaron not known as a great tackler, but he came up and played that play extremely well. Third down and 7 at the 43. They need to go to midfield for first down. Here's Manning. Manning in trouble. Incomplete. They got to him again. This time it's Kylie Wong, but a flag on the play. A flag thrown in the secondary.
And a late flag thrown in the direction of Kenny Wright, the nickel man for the Houston Texans.
Pass interference, defense, number 42. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic, first down.
That's Marcus Coleman. So the Texans with an opportunity to have the momentum swing in their favor. Penalties costing them again.
And you know, that's very unlike a Don Capers team. He does such a great job of disciplining his teams, and obviously with a young team like this, you figure it out by only one thing, and that's experience.
First down for the Colts. Play action. Manning looking backside. Now down the middle. Harrison wide open. Incomplete. In and out of the hands of Marvin Harrison. And he felt Matt Stevens coming over.
And you actually saw Marvin Harrison take a glance toward Matt Stevens while that ball was still in the air. And sometimes I don't know if we appreciate how great Peyton Manning truly is. And let's watch Marvin. You're going to see him on his route. Now that ball's in the air right now. Watch him glance over there. You see him just glance right there at Matt Stevens. Just enough to take his concentration off the ball. And you don't see Marvin Harrison do that. He doesn't usually care who's coming over to hit him.
Second down and 10 at the 49. Here's James with blockers in front of him, and he gets to the 45. Sears with the tackle. Third down 4 at the 45. They need to go to the 41 for a first down. Here's Manning. Manning broken up. Aaron Glenn closing. But a flag. There's a flag on the far sideline at the 47.
And that's got to be against the Colts, Gus. Some backfield in motion, or maybe their line wasn't set. But Aaron Glenn, what a great drive on that ball.
Illegal formation. The tackle on the right side of the offensive line was uncovered. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
The tackle is Adam Meadows.
And let's watch Aaron Glenn drive that ball. He looks right at it and comes through and breaks up the pass. And Aaron Glenn has been a big part of the success of this Houston Texans defense thus far this year. And what great leadership. And he's so soft-spoken and humble. He's such a great player. He's got great wheels, great savvy, studies so much film.
He's humble from humble. And that's pronounced humble. The H is silent, as I've been told about 4 times today. Avion Black with the Bearcat signal at the 11. He had running room. Flag on the play at the 15 on the far side.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both against the receiving team. Holding, number 52. Holding, number 42. The acceptance of this penalty will be assessed half the distance to the goal. 1st down.
So Marcus Coleman, number 42, and Kylie Wong, number 52. All right, Brent, I have a question for you. Which AFC rivalry is the most heated? Dolphins, Jets, Bills, Dolphins. We have the Browns and the Steelers next week. The Chiefs and the Raiders always. Broncos, Raiders, or Broncos, Chiefs. Cast your vote at NFL.com. What do you think?
I don't think, I know. It's the Broncos, Raiders. Mike Shanahan, former head coach of the Raiders, just despises Al Davis and anything about the Raiders, and vice versa. Let me tell you, that's an ugly one.
1st down and 10 at the 6. Wells, the deep man in the backfield. They hand it to him, looking for room, and Wells cuts it back, gets to the 10, maybe the 11. A 4-yard pickup. Josh Doring with the tackle. And Dom Capers told us that his goal was to limit the penalties, limit the offensive possessions for Indianapolis, keep the game as close as possible, and get into the 4th quarter.
Yeah, and then maybe go ahead and take a chance at a big play or maybe a big turnover. But gosh, field position, penalties, some of the things that he expressed were important to us really haven't played out in his favor.
Here's Wells again, and Wells over that left side. His forward progress gets him over the 10, up close to the 12, a 3-yard gain.
And I think when you're looking at some of the positives out of this game for the Houston Texans, you got to be excited about James Allen running the ball early as well as big number 32, Jonathan Wells, making an impact and becoming more and more aggressive with his style of play, starting to get comfortable in this offense.
And Jason Doring is down, and Jonathan Wells has 12 carries, 95 yards. Young fellow who had to wait 3 years at Ohio State before he was finally elevated to a starting role. And when he got the chance, he really made the most of it. 1,331 yards rushing and 16 touchdowns last year. And he's been averaging close to 8 yards per carry today.
And let's watch Doring coming in late, left part of the screen. And let's see what happens. Whoa.
It's like a shoulder.
Little head and shoulder, yeah, and that just hurts so much. That pile sometimes can move you. It's tough. You got 3 guys coming on you, and you can do nothing but bounce off.
Those guys aren't light at all. And they get him upright. Doring went to Wisconsin. And he's finally on his feet. Doring off the field. 3rd down 3 at the 13 for the Texans. They need to go to the 16-yard line, 2 of 9 on conversions today. Here's a draw play, and that play blown up from the start. Wow. questionable call there.
And penetration's going to kill that draw play every time, and the penetration came right into James Williams, the running back, or James Allen, I'm sorry, and there's nobody around to block the Colts defense.
And that's the end of the third quarter with the score. The Colts 13, the Texans 3. We'll be back to Houston after this message and the word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Scoring by quarters, the Colts got a touchdown from Qadry Ismail from Peyton Manning in the first, and a couple of field goals in the second, and finally Houston scoring in the third as Chad Stanley comes on to punt it away, his 6th punt of the afternoon. No pressure. It's a wobbly kick. Fielded at the 49 by Walters, and he lunges forward and gets to the 38, a 41-yard punt and a 13-yard return. So with 14:50 to go at the start of the fourth quarter, the Colts have it deep in Houston territory. For the third time today, the Colts start in Houston territory. First down at the Texans 39. Here's Manning setting up, looking over the middle. It's caught at the 24, Marvin Harrison. And he gets up, grabbing his backside a bit. May have taken an awkward fall.
And that's not a good sign for the Indianapolis Colts. See Marvin Harrison just running that deep over route. Peyton Manning putting it on him, just allows him to sit down and comes down right on his gluteus maximus. Bad place to have a bruise.
7 catches, 102 yards for Marvin Harrison. His 29th career 100-yard receiving game. First down, Edgerrin James swerving, and James is tackled inside the 20 at the 19. Colts very methodical this afternoon. And the big three, as they are affectionately called around the league, the triplets. Peyton Manning, no interceptions, a touchdown. Edgerrin James getting close to that 100-yard mark. Marvin Harrison already surpassing it. Second down. And 6. Manning under pressure. Manning gets out of trouble. Throws on the run to the back of the end zone. Broken up at the last moment by Eric Brown, the safety.
And Peyton Manning would love to have that pass back, and that's the only pass that he hasn't thrown accurately all day. And a big part of that is he's rolling to his left. Watch Marvin Harrison. He's wide open. Put a little air on it for Peyton, and you know it's tough to roll to your opposite side, your left-hand side, and plant your feet, and that actually was Qadry Ismail, 83, coming back across the end zone there. And
so it's third down and 6 at the 20. The Colts are 3 of 9 on conversions today. They need to go to 14. Manning looking in the flat. He finds Edgerrin James, and Edgerrin James easily picks up the first down at the 10. It's a gain of 10, and that's what makes him so dangerous.
And what a great weapon to have coming out of the backfield to catch the ball. A lot of running backs don't like catching it, don't take pride in their routes. Look at the edge. He sure does. Peyton Manning putting it right there, giving him room to run, and getting the big first down and getting out of bounds. And there's Tom Moore. And hey, he's dialed it up right today. They've had some trouble in the red zone. Not necessarily Tom Moore's calls, just some of the blocking's broken down and got some pressure in Peyton Manning's face. Let's watch the blitz, Gus, right here.
First down at the 11. Play clock winding down. Edgerrin James. And James is dropped at the 8 by Eric Brown. And the Colts have been in the red zone twice today and come up with 2 field goals. Remember, they were 1 of 5 in the red zone last week. And what's the key, if you would say, Brent, when you're in the red zone to scoring touchdowns? You guys were prolific in San Francisco when you got this far, or this close rather, to the other team's end zone.
Well, you just really had to stretch that field, and that's what's a problem, because it shrinks. So you have to stretch it from different formations, have your receivers run out the slot, use the backs, use the tight end, mix it up.
2nd and 8. Manning over the middle, caught by Pollard, but a flag on the play. Could be a hold against Indianapolis.
And they might have caught Jeff Saturday there holding the center.
Holding, offense, number 63, 10-yard penalty, repeat, second down.
Seth Payne rushing the passer.
Jeff Saturday, the center, and Seth Payne playing nose tackle, and Saturday not getting swarmed right there. A little arm over move, and shoot, sometimes if you get beat that quick and your quarterback's health is at risk, go ahead and tackle the guy and take the penalty.
Second down, 18. At the 19. Harrison at the bottom of your screen, locked up with Aaron Glenn. Manning looks underneath, finds Ismail, and Ismail fumbled, picked up by the Texans, and they've got it. Gary Walker, trailing the play, comes up with the fumble recovery. And that's the second turnover of the day. And I believe it's Reggie Wayne who made the catch and the fumble.
And a big lick by Marcus Coleman, and that ball's popping out.
So the Texans get it back. Big play for the Houston defense.
And where Reggie Wayne, you see him spin back inside, Gus, and when you spin, you're going to get blindsided. You got to get two hands on the ball, especially when you spin inside. You know players are coming from the other angle.
Gary Walker plucking that ball right out of the air. Here's Carr dumping it over the middle, and this time it's Wells receiving up to the 20.
And Gus, let's go back to the big turnover. Reggie Wayne, you see right there, he took the shot from Marcus Coleman after spinning back inside. Now, if you spin outside, there's probably not going to be other angles coming. You're against a defensive back, a safety. There's not 3 or 4 guys coming. But in this league, when you spin back inside, you need to protect the ball with both hands. Reggie Wayne, young wide receiver for the Colts, is stepping up and making some plays. But you have to protect the ball inside.
Second down and 1. And here's Wells, and Wells will lose yardage on the play. Lost maybe a yard.
And Gus, I understand the Texans and their thinking and wanting to play and have a chance into the fourth quarter, which they do. But there's been times today where I think
they're a little conservative right now.
I think that they've been a little conservative. I think those 15 sacks the first couple weeks on their franchise quarterback maybe has made them a little bit conservative, a little gun shy to call plays down the field. Well, you can't win if you don't come up with a couple big plays.
David Carr has not been sacked today. Now Carr looking, nobody home, throws across the field late, and a flag on the play. Carr tackled by Chad Bratsky, and that will be roughing the passer.
And I think they're going to call some pass interference on Jeff Posey as well, trying to cover Jonathan Wells.
Personal foul, roughing the pass.
And actually,
defense, number 92. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Another look at Bratsky.
And the ball's away, and Chad Bratsky knows to get rid of that ball. And I'm not so sure that Sam Sword, the linebacker, didn't interfere here with Jonathan Wells as well. But penalty marker down, you take the 15 from the roughing the passer and move on.
4 penalties against the Colts, 45 yards. Bratsky came in svelte this season. He lost 15 pounds, wanted to be quicker. First down and 10 at the 36. Here's the reverse. Doesn't fool anybody. It's Bratsky getting upfield. And we talked about his quickness. Bratsky just chopping down Corey Bradford.
And Chad Bratsky is so excited to play in this style of defense. He gets a lot more opportunities to rush the passer, shoot through gaps, and he's going to get right up into the backfield right there and penetrate very early. And that's a very nice tackle against a quick wide receiver. Chad Bratsky was looking pretty lean yesterday.
A loss of 11. And as you mentioned, Tony Dungy has brought a different defense in. And we'll talk about it in a moment.
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis
This is their
calls the
first shot.
timeout. And that is their first. They have 2 remaining. 9:34 to play in the fourth quarter. 13-3 Colts. Second down and 21 for the Texans at their own 25. Here's the handoff. Wells over the left side. It'll bring up third down and about 25.
Yeah, Gus, that's too conservative at this point. Try to win the game, not just keep it close. Running the ball on 2nd 20, that's just not going to get it done.
That'll bring up third down and 22. Make it, yes, 3rd and 22 from the 24. And you got a big, strong-arm quarterback. And you take a look at the rushing yards. Minus 13 for Houston this quarter. Gotta let him throw it. Carr in trouble. Steps up underneath. Ball is caught by Juwan Dawson, who's dropped at the 36. 12-yard pickup, but way short of the first down. They needed to go to the 46 for a first down.
And you saw how open that middle of the field was there for Juwan Dawson, and just one of the things that the Texans haven't really capitalized on, going after the Colts' weakness in the middle of the linebacker coverage underneath. We never saw Billy Miller get over there and get across the middle of the field, or we haven't seen that deep over route to Corey Bradford. We got to start calling it. Time is running out here.
8:15 and counting. Stanley from the 20. Wobbly kick. Walters from the 23. And Walters ambushed at the 30. Good job by Jason Simmons. A 7-yard return, and now the Houston defense forced to hold this Indianapolis team once again. A statue of the great Sam Houston located in Herman Park. The city of Houston is named after Sam Houston. And Chad Bratsky, part of the good and the bad in the last defensive stand for the Colts. First down and 10 at the 31. Here's Edgerrin James. James picks up 2 yards. Seth Payne coming up with the tackle.
You have to be impressed with the way the Texans defense has played today against one of the best offenses in the National Football League. It's really, I know moral victories don't count, but that is a impressive display today against the Colts. And there you see, Gus, 100 yards. Colts offense under what they usually average.
2nd and 8. Manning into the flat. It's James. Stutter step, and James goes out of bounds at the 35. 2-yard pickup. Marcus Coleman pushing him out of bounds. Keith Mitchell may have been able to drop him for a loss. And there's Marcus, who went to Texas Tech. And he is a Texas native. Happy to be back home. One of the big and solid corners in the league. Went against the run. 3rd down, 4 at the 37. They need to go to the 41 for a first down. And that one is caught by Harrison at the 45. Somehow he caught it. A gain of 8. Marvin Harrison, the young man out of Roman Catholic High School in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And this guy can play the game.
And Kenny Wright, 43, was all over Marvin Harrison. Peyton Manning sticking it right there. You see Kenny Wright, 43, almost actually pulling the ball out of Marvin Harrison's hand there for a second. Marvin went in the tug-of-war. That would have been a huge turnover at this point in the game, but Marvin doesn't miss a whole lot of those.
Harrison, 8 catches, 110 yards. Jodine Davenport, the motion man. Here's Manning setting up, looking for the home run down the sideline. Incomplete. Ismael, the intended receiver, and Marcus Coleman was a step behind him.
And Qadri Ismail coming over from the Baltimore Ravens and their success, and he's going to really make an impact this year, and going against Marcus Coleman, one of the biggest, strongest cornerbacks in the league. But when you talk about the offense for the Indianapolis Colts, that's really an added advantage to have that 3rd wide receiver have so much speed. Another toy for Peyton Manning to play with.
Manning, 19 of 26, 220 yards and a touchdown. Second down 10 at the 45. Play clock winding down. James. And James bottled up in the backfield, but somehow, with the great vision and the great feet, he picks up 4 yards. Matt Stevens with the tackle.
That's just amazing to get 4 yards out of what should be nothing. And that's kind of that Barry Sanders running style, you say, the kind of the dance, bob and weave, staying low to the ground. And that's how you know Edgerrin James's knee is back in full health. Being able to do that and make those cuts and having a quiet 106 today, but still a big impact in this game.
Third down 5 at midfield. They need to go to the 45 for a first down. Clock starting to hurt the Texans now. Manning. Nobody home. Finally, they find James, who picks up the first down at the 40, but a flag thrown on the opposite side of the field.
And I think Jamie Sharper and Marcus Pollard were locked up, and I think Jamie Sharper might have been holding the big tight end.
Holding, defense, number 31. The penalty is declined. Result to the play, first down.
Actually, it was on Aaron Glenn and Marvin Harrison. Look at that. That's the clamps. And Marvin Harrison gets in his face a little bit, and I don't know, Gus.
Well, when we talked to Aaron yesterday, he said the only way you can guard this guy is to put your hands on him. Remember?
That's exactly what he said. And Aaron Glenn's had a big game. I think Marvin Harrison's cut some balls away from Aaron Glenn today.
First and 10 at the 41. Edgerrin James, nowhere to go. Jamie Sharper with the tackle, the former Raven, who for so many years played next to the great Ray Lewis in Baltimore. They won the Super Bowl over the Giants in 2000, and now Sharper comes to Houston, where he gets an opportunity to run his own defense. And he's kind of a renaissance man.
I think he got a full scholarship to linebacker U here.
Yeah, he certainly did.
They're glad to have him.
Reliant Stadium, Houston, Texas. 13-3, the Colts lead. Under 5 minutes to play in the fourth. Rain starting to fall here at the stadium. Play action, Manning looking, fired, and that one is caught! Touchdown, Reggie Wayne! A 43-yard touchdown, and sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
And you aren't kidding, and Marcus Coleman had that interception right through his fingers. Reggie Wayne waiting along the sideline, bouncing back from that fumble earlier. Marcus Coleman making an effort, and you see Reggie Wayne keeps his feet in bounds and accelerates right through the middle of the field and spikes it with a little emotion. And Marcus is just saying to himself, dang, I had that ball. It went right through my fingers.
So the Colts take a 19-3 lead.
And I'm not so sure Reggie Wayne stayed in bounds. That back foot almost looked, after the tip, almost looked like he was right on the line there.
3 catches for 53 yards for the former Miami Hurricane, finally healthy this season. Let's take another look at the touchdown and see if he indeed kept both feet in bounds.
Great angle. There's the ball tip. Let's watch that back foot right there. Ooh.
He was in.
It was close. His heel didn't touch. Stayed on his toes.
See, if he were flat-footed, he would have had trouble.
And we've talked to Reggie Wayne, and he said he's been learning the offense. It was so tough the first year. Things happened so quickly, and just loves being involved in this offense. And look, watch this back foot. There's the ball tipped up in the air. Now right here, this next step, that heel almost gets right there. And that's awful close. But you see his heel doesn't hit down, Gus. Stays on his toes. All us fast guys stay on our toes. I know you're always on your heels.
I'm always on my heels, you're right.
Very impressive. One hand, pulls it in with the other, and you can't tell.
There.
You can't tell it. And so the play on the field, it was called a touchdown, and that is the exact call.
And the officials are checking it out right now.
And remember, it has to be irrefutable evidence to overturn the call on the field, which was touchdown. And I don't think we're going to see an angle that would show his foot getting out of bounds. This is the closest one, and actually Marcus Coleman's shoulder pad hinders it right there at that point. It looks like it might be going down, but you'll watch his foot bounce up. His heel doesn't hit. Right there, comes up.
So Wayne hoping that this touchdown stands for him.
And Reggie was telling us about how much he's learned from Marvin Harrison and just watching him and some of the things.
After reviewing the play, the Indianapolis receiver received the ball with both feet inbounds and never did step out of bounds thereafter. Therefore, the play stands as ruled touchdown. Houston will be charged with their second timeout.
So Reggie Wayne with the touchdown, and the Colts take a 19-3 lead. Great concentration on the part of Wayne when that ball was deflected by Coleman. He had his eyes locked on it and hauled it in and sprinted for the score. Extra point is up and good. So with 4:06 to go in the fourth quarter, the Colts take a 23 lead.
And there's Peyton Manning saying, hey, Reggie, thanks. I owe you one. And you see Marcus Coleman getting over on that throw by Peyton Manning, who saw Wayne open, but was again going to his left, having to throw off his back foot. And Marcus Coleman, 6'2", gets up, gets some air, and Reggie Wayne, presence of mind, stay in bounds, bring it down with one hand, grab it. And not only that, Gus, how about accelerating to that open hole, the middle of the field? And that's some afterburners.
And believe me, Wayne is not happy with the acquisition of Qadri Ismail. He's only in his second year, and he felt that coming into this season, although he's been plagued by some injuries, if you take a look at the drive, that starting spot would be his. So as the third receiver, very effective, but he is focused on getting that starting spot again.
Well, he'll definitely have some opportunities, and in this offense, opportunities to make a lot of plays and make an impact. And that's what you want as a young guy. You don't want your young guys to be happy to be the third wide receiver. You want a little bit of an attitude, and it just takes time. It takes work. And how many times over the last 3 or 4 years have we seen Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison, Edgerrin James come out 2 hours before the game starts, warm up, throw the ball? They do that in the off season. They do it during minicamp. It takes time to get comfortable with the whole system. It's a very complicated offensive system.
I thought you were pretty happy sitting behind Russ Francis, Wesley Walls.
I didn't sit behind Wesley Walls there, pal. That's right. That's right.
It still burns, folks.
That's right. Hey, and you're
still burns.
And Greg Gumbel, you're still sitting behind Greg Gumbel.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, what a great guy to learn from.
Here's Avion Black. And Black over the 25 up to the 27. It's a 22-yard return. Marcus Coleman, what could have been. He had both hands on the interception, just unable to hold on to it. And with 4 minutes to play, the Texans are down 20-3 with the ball at the 27. Let's see if they open it up. And Carr stumbling as he drops back. Must have stepped on the foot of one of his offensive linemen or had his foot stepped on.
That's usually the case. Maybe James Allen, number 20, might have tripped him coming back there. But he gets stepped on by Domingo Graham right there. See that? Not my best drawing, but Domingo losing ground. And that's not a good feeling to have a big 290-pounder, 300-pounder step on your ankle.
And that's the first sack of the day.
Ah, man, that shouldn't count as a sack.
Second down and 17 at the 20. Here's Carr. Fires to the flat and Wells wisely gets out of bounds at the 25. Let's take a look around the league in the newly formed AFC South coming in. Indianapolis 1-1. Everybody was 1-1. Tennessee was leading Cleveland by 7 points in the fourth quarter.
And Gus, I know you really like Jacksonville this year. That's kind of your surprise team. I know you're a big Tom Coughlin fan.
I actually do, even though they lost to Indianapolis week 1. I think they may surprise some people. Third down 12 at the 25. And Carr fumbles the ball. Brad Scioli gets to him. Washington picks it up, and they give it back to the Colts. second sack of the day.
Well, that one should count. And I'm not so sure his arm wasn't going forward. And on the field, they called it a fumble. And let's see if Brad Scioli gets that ball out before that arm is going forward by David Carr. You see him take the three-step drop, step up. Boy, that's close. And they're going to challenge that. I think if you're the Texans, you got to challenge that. Once that arm starts forward with the ball and it's knocked out, Gus, that's an incomplete pass in the National Football League.
Fumble.
And according to the Oakland Raiders, there's a different version of that rule.
Yeah, well, we know the tuck rule, but that's not the situation right here, fortunately. We don't have to go through that explanation. And you see that ball starting to go forward, and Scioli comes through and knocks it out. It's the old open hand rule. If your arm starts forward and that ball gets knocked out, and you come through with the open hand, they call that an incomplete pass. And the question is whether that ball was knocked out before his arm starts forward. And I think it actually starts forward and then gets knocked out from that view right there,
I actually
Gus.
disagree with you. I think it was knocked out before it starts forward.
Okay.
On the other angle that we had.
I'll bet you a buck.
Oh, okay, I'll bet you a buck.
All right.
And this is what the officials, or the official, is looking at. I don't know.
Now, see, one of the differences, you see David Carr actually drops his arm down before that thing starts forward. And it's clearly a judgment call on when his arm starts that forward motion. It comes out away from his hand, and he's stepping into it. And I think that's really part of the motion. And remember, it has to be irrefutable evidence also, Gus, to overturn the call in the field. So you got that working in your favor. And we've seen this happen 3 or 4 times.
Well, you sound like you're backtracking, partner.
After reviewing the play, the quarterback's arm had not started forward as the time the ball had fallen. Therefore, the ruling on the field stands as fumble recovery by Indianapolis.
I can't believe that.
Houston will be charged their third and final timeout.
Well, it's all whether you determine whether that arm's going forward, and you see him starting to cock that ball, and I guess I owe you a buck.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Dig in your pocket, buddy, right now.
You're not letting me leave, huh?
No, I'm not. First down and 10 for the Colts at the Houston 22. And no more timeouts for the Texans other than the 2-minute warning. Here's Edgerrin James. And James is wrapped up at the 21. Kylie Long with the tackle. And Tony Dungy, what a class act. He's from Jackson, Michigan, the greatest athlete in the history of Jackson, Michigan. And we talked to him yesterday, and I tell you what, they don't get much better than Tony Dungy in pro sports.
I absolutely agree. And, you know, there's a big feeling amongst National Football League players. They think the same thing. Very well respected amongst the players.
Defensive genius. Here's James again. James taking down the upcoming schedule for the Colts. They have a bye next week, and then look at some of those games. They have a chance to really put some W's up on the board.
Looks like they got 3 byes. 1, 2, 3. I get in trouble for that one.
Yeah, I'm sure you can.
That's right. I don't care.
2-minute warning. The coach and his former player. We'll tell you that story right after this. Third down 6 for the Colts at the Houston 18. They hand it off to Edgerrin James. James spinning and taken down at the 20. Chris Carter with the tackle, the former University of Texas star. And Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator, has been in football for 39 years as a coach. And he coached one special player at the University of Minnesota, and that is the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. He was Tony Dungy's coach, quarterback's coach.
Actually recruited him out of high school, and they were together there at the U of M, and then together coaching for a few years with the Pittsburgh Steelers and then the Minnesota Vikings.
So Coach Dungy saying Tom Moore, not only a great coach, but they've been together for so long that he's like family. It's like having an extended family member with you. Tom Moore, very innovative in his approach to offensive football.
And you just don't hear his name bandied about that much, and he just continues to succeed in Pittsburgh, and then obviously had a high potency offense there in Detroit with Barry Sanders, Herman Moore, Brett Perryman, and you remember that back when Detroit was actually good.
Oh man, come on.
Your hometown.
You're killing my team.
Those Lions are hurting you, aren't they?
So Mike Vanderjagt comes in to attempt a 37-yard field goal. Dom Capers can only watch. Vanderjagt gets it up and good. Mike Vanderjagt good today from 26, 39, 47, and 37 yards. And the Colts take a 23-3 lead. So next Sunday, beginning at noon Eastern, we're back with NFL doubleheader games as Superbacks Ricky Williams and Priest Holmes collide when the Dolphins take on the Chiefs. And in the nightcap, many of you will see the Patriots against the Chargers. It all starts with Jim, Dion, Dan, and Boomer on the NFL Today. So Dom Capers, he's been through this before with the expansion Carolina Panthers. And he's learned from some of the mistakes that the organization made in Carolina. And a look at the upcoming schedule. Next week, a tough one. They're at Philadelphia. And then the bye week, and hopefully after the bye week for Houston, they get two very important players back. Tony Boselli and Ryan Young, both with injuries.
And we said all along there's no moral victories, but that defense today for the Texans sure did step up.
The executive producers of the NFL on CBS are Sean McManus and Tony Batiti. Today's game produced by Robert Herman Monsbach and directed by Mark Grant. The associate director of today's game is J. Brian Lilly, a native of Houston, Texas. As a matter of fact, Brian was somewhere out on his farm mending a fence yesterday. Came back with a bunch of cuts and stuff on his hands. Here's Avion Black from the goal line. And he gets to the 35, turns it up, and Black close to midfield. The associate producer, Andy Kaplan, the technical manager, the legend himself, Doug Fleetum, and the coordinating producer of CBS Sports is Harold Bryant. Our statistician today, Russ Delenn, and our spotter, Ben Calhoun. So Jim Nantz and company are getting ready for the post-game show, brought to you by Subway in New York. A minute remaining, 23-3. No timeouts remaining for the Texans. And some movement on the right side.
And we're going to be in Pittsburgh next weekend, partner.
And number 78, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Maybe Jim and the guys in the NFL Today studio could let Jerome know that we're coming. And he better be ready.
Yes, he better be ready. But I think the bus is pretty much ready for anything.
Yes, he is. In fact, he might, for the first time ever, have outdressed Deion Sanders on the show today. What do you think?
Yes, I think he did. I think he did. First down and 15. Here's Carr under pressure, and he takes a sack. Freeney, the rookie out of Syracuse, first-round pick with his first sack as a professional. .40 to go. Underneath, it's Black with the catch at midfield, and he goes down at the 47. Tackled by Peterson. Pickup of 14 yards. Carr underneath again, and Jawan Dawson cradles it. 13 seconds to go. Texans unable to stop the clock with the timeout. And they spike it.
And Gus, you got to really admire the fact that this offense hasn't given up. They're going to continue to try to come out of here feeling good, maybe with a score. Got 7 seconds left. Maybe toss it into the end zone. You see the numbers on today, and
had a lot of drop balls, though, I can say, for David Carr.
Yeah, and both quarterbacks had a few.
3 drops for Carr. Peyton Manning with the hat on. Tell you, he's got a little brother that's a pretty good player, Eli, who threw for like 350 yards yesterday from Mississippi. And here's a scoop for you. Eli, only a junior, athletically, may come out of college next year. He may.
False start. Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty remains. 2nd down.
And we saw Peyton come into our meeting yesterday. He had the big Texas, what is it, a 10-gallon hat on, his boots. Here's Carr, final play, should be, and Carr goes down again. And that should do it. 23-3 the final in Houston. So for Brent Jones, I'm Gus Johnson saying so long from Reliant Stadium in Houston, where the Colts defeat the Texans 23-3. Now it's the Subway postgame show with Jim Nantz and company.